What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is doing well today on this beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll be reacting to a highly requested video. By the way, thank you so much for all the recommendations. Feel free to follow my Twitch in the description down below as well, so you guys do not miss out on any of the live streams coming soon. Very soon. We just hit 50 followers too, so thank you so much, everyone. We done hit that 50 threshold. Today, we will be reacting to Rick Mercer on annoying Canadian stereotypes. I've really been wanting to hear what Canadian celebrities, have to say about the Canadian stereotypes, such as saying A all the time, drinking syrup, eating poutine for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, wearing a flannel. Should I keep going? Chopping down tree. Do I gotta keep going, man? The stereotypes are gonna keep living. They're going on forever, man. Let's go ahead and jump right into this video and see what Rick Mercer has to say.
Canadian stereotypes. All right, we all love hockey. Of course, Canadians love hockey, but Canada's changing. There's lots of sports they like. Do you believe these stereotypes? And it drives me nuts, actually. The whole notion that I like hockey, and I like Tim Hortons. Right. But I eat at Tim Hortons more than probably any man alive because I spend so much time on highways. But, the notion that, like, if you don't, there's somehow something wrong with you. That's right. You should be hauled out back and beaten, if you don't watch hockey. Also, that bugs me as well.
Yeah, here's your health card, your double-double, and a Leafs jersey, right? How about the stereotype that we're too passive and polite?
Well, I don't think you can be too polite. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
That stereotype has to stop. What do you mean too passive and polite? How can somebody be too polite? Now, I know I have came across some people that are like, just oddly kind, like just super duper kind. Like, what you got, like, what's the catch? Like, what you got going on? What? Why are you being so nice to the point it was like suspicious? But the more you speak to the person, you realize that's just them. Like, they must have came from a swell family. I'm talking about swell. I mean, some people do, and they grew up, not learning curse words, not hearing their parents curse, bicker, fighting, arguing. They probably didn't see their parents or siblings mad, having anger and aggression, especially towards each other. Their parents probably didn't teach them to fight and be, haters and everything. Told them to be lovers. And I'm just like, man, we really got to understand, people in this world. Not everybody's the same. I can't smile. I can only smile for so long before it starts hurting. I be cheesing, and my cheeks get to hurting, man. Especially when I come across extremely nice people, because I really do appreciate it, man. I really do value those people because it makes my day. Spread the love and the positivity. But the ones that are super duper duper duper. Now, I've only came, like, the percentage is probably very low, like 1%. I've came across throughout my life, and it was like, there must have been an angel. Yeah. So can we stop with that? Talk about too nice. Let's have some manners. Let's normalize being too nice. Let's normalize that. Manners, opening the door, please and thank yous, no thank yous, you're welcome. You're very welcome. What do you mean by passive? Everybody should be passive. You shouldn't be out in public being dangerous. Everybody should be passive unless you feel the need to defend yourself, unless somebody disrespects you or something. Then a Canadian has, they have every right in the world to, disable that passiveness. Disable the passiveness is crazy. I'm talking like it's GTA. I heard that word passive. I'm thinking of passive mode. Like, nah, you out in public on passive mode. You can't even do nothing. I mean, you're not even trying to be a menace. You're being as safe as possible. Like, you're invisible, almost. You're invisible. You don't want nobody to even notice you.
Well, I don't think you can be too polite. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. My mother's one of the politest ladies you ever meet, but, you don't mess with her, Polite is not bad. Passive, yeah, I'm not. I think sometimes we can be too passive, and we can, we have it so good, right? Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. It's on so many levels, we have it so good that you can just, take your eye off the ball.
The study came out that said, in terms of sexual activity in this country...
Yeah, take your eyes off the ball. Like, you have a safer country, Stuff happens in every country, every state. We know that. There's gangs, there's people, there's crime, doing this, stealing, stabbings, shootings, robberies, home invasions, kidnappings. There's a lot of that in every country and state. But, when it comes to those countries where the gun laws are really different and the people have, more respect for each other. They believe in something different all around than what, as you can see, other people believe in here in the land of free. Oh, man. You could kind of, go out in public without having to look over your shoulder every second. You don't have to carry pepper spray, a knife, or, firearm on you. You don't have to do none of that to watch yourself, to keep yourself protected. You're perfectly fine. The laws are different as well. Laws are a big factor. Laws play a big role, man, because if our gun laws were like how they are in the UK and Canada, do you think people will be walking around with all these guns? Do you think the crime rate would be so high? The robberies, home invasion, I mean, you need a weapon for that, right? These people probably would second guess doing that if they didn't have a gun on them. I mean, unless your hands, like, what you gonna use a knife? Like, come on. Let's be real. They're gonna second guess that, man. These people some charm, they need a firearm to go do something.
The study came out that said, in terms of sexual activity in this country, Newfoundlanders, and I suppose by
so good that you can just take your eye off the ball.
The study came out that said,
Yep.
In terms of sexual activity in this country, Newfoundlanders, and I suppose by association, Labradorians,
right,
have the most sex in this country. Is that an accurate stereotype? Is that your?
What was the question? I was thinking about sex.
Apparently, Newfoundlanders have no sex.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But even more
It's
than
a
Quebecers.
Hey, how true is that? He said studies show. I'm trying to figure out how accurate that is. Is that, I mean, what? What are you just going? How you figuring out this type of information? Are you just going around? How many times a week do you and your partner have? Like, how you figure this out?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But even more
it's
than
a
Quebecers.
long winter. It's a long winter, George.
How about the idea that we all hate Toronto, even people who are from Toronto?
Well, again, this is one of my biggest pet peeves. Actually, I was raised to dislike Toronto, and now I live in Toronto, and I find it amazing. Well, being from Toronto is a bit like being a lawyer. Like, if you have a friend who's a lawyer, sometimes you can be with someone, and you say your friend's a lawyer, and you introduce them as strangers, and they say, "What do you do?" And they say, "Oh, I'm a lawyer," and then people say the most horrible things to him, and you're like, "He's a lawyer for a children's charity," and even if he wasn't, it's like, it's like there's this license to just immediately destroy them because they happen to be lawyers, and Toronto's a bit like that, of course, where everyone likes to beat up on Toronto, but yeah, I'm tired of that too. I'm tired of a lot, George.
I don't blame you, my friend. You've traveled a lot. You've seen the country.
It all becomes more gray as you get older too. I used to be a very good. It's black and white. As an angry young man.
Why do so many people bash Toronto? What has Toronto ever done to the people? Every time I mention Drake, people be like, "Oh, don't get me started." They be like, "He's not really a Canadian." I'm like, "Oh, that's a crazy statement. That's a wild statement to make." I call Drake up right now. Let me stop. I don't got a number, but I'd like, come on, making wild statements like that is crazy. But people be saying he's a poser, he's a traitor. I'm like, man, leave that man alone. The music is amazing. Drake is a funny person as well, talented all around. I could say that, man. I'm trying to figure out why the people don't like Toronto and the people that come from Toronto and the things within Toronto so much. What is wrong? What's the issue? Put me on. Somebody let me know in the comments. Am I missing out on something? I mean, I'm not no bandwagon. I'm not going to just agree with you and be like, nah, I don't like Toronto. No, it's beautiful. I want to go there and visit it and everything. Love my Toronto people. I just want to figure out, is that a true stereotype? Because I even some Canadians in my comments, though, have been, talking down on Toronto people, Not Toronto people. I'm sorry to put words in your mouth like that. Not Toronto people. Toronto itself. So I don't know what's wrong with Toronto, man.
I used to be a very good, it's black and white, as an angry young man, and now it's just, there's a lot of gray. Am I having a stroke? It's like a lot of gray out there.
Oh my goodness. Let me know in the comments, did you guys agree with some of these stereotypes? Please be honest as well. Or did you agree with Rick Mercer and his thoughts on these stereotypes? Let's stop them all. Stop it. Except for the other one where he said it's a long winter. You know which one we're talking about. If you know, you know. I didn't really think of it that way, because it's kind of like hibernating. It's winter. You're really going to be in a house. When it's wintertime, people spend more hours cooped up in the house, cuddled together. They try to keep warm. They cozied up. Watching cartoons is crazy. Watching movies, Netflix. I know some adults that watch cartoons, actually. That's why I said that. My grandfather that passed away was still watching SpongeBob to the day he left this earth. Come on now. It's in your blood. Like you can't leave it, man, what you grew up on. It's an iconic show. Like, some things are just iconic for people. And feel free to share some more stereotypes that, you feel go around this world that are not true at all, but you feel was not, added onto this list or any other list that we have checked out, when it was pertaining to checking out Canadian stereotypes, because there has to be way more out there. I've heard so many and I keep hearing them and they're so common. I'm like, I'm hearing the same stereotypes except for some of these. This was actually new. So if I'm actually still learning about some of these stereotypes, I know there has to be more out there, other than what we learned throughout this video today, the other stereotypes. Feel free to recommend the video in my comment section down below, or my suggestion link is going to go straight to my Gmail, or in my DMs on Instagram with more of these fabulous stereotype videos for us to check out, or any other videos in any other category. It doesn't really matter, guys. I really appreciate all of the daily recommendations, and it keeps us busy and educated on a daily basis. Please feel free to follow my Twitch in the description down below, and feel free to share it to your friends and family members, whoever you feel may be interested in joining us on the daily basis for our live streams coming up very, 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 very soon. Once again, stay safe. Thank you so much for joining me today to check out this wonderful video on Rick Mercer, and his ideas, his thoughts, his opinions on the stereotypes about Canada, which he finds annoying. Let me know if you guys find them annoying as well. Like, do these stereotypes need to stop? If an American was to, question you about these stereotypes, what would you guys, say to them? What would you do? What would you say to them verbally? What would you do physically? Physically is crazy. I do got some Canadian supporters out there that that probably rather correct you physically if you say something so foolish to their face. Oh man, stay safe everyone. Enjoy the weather in your beautiful country, and I hope to catch you all in the next reaction video.